Hello all. So we will be discussing the relation between analog frequency and digital frequency. The analog frequency is denoted by omega, which is by this symbol, and this is denoted by omega, but the symbol is like W. So for illustrating purpose, just we are considering an example of sinusoidal signal. We will be deriving the relation by using this sinusoidal signal. So consider this signal cosine of omega t plus phi, but this omega is in analog domain, right? It is analog frequency. As you can see over here, we have t, which is our time domain, right? So it is continuous time signal, right? Now let's have sampling. Okay, consider that we have done some sampling process. As we know that we convert from analog to digital by sampling and then quantization. So let's say we have done both of these things, sampling as well as quantization, and we are left with the signal cosine of, we have, as we know that t is replaced by nts, right? So we will be writing t by nts plus phi as it is, right? Now we know that standard form in digital domain, which is digital signal, is cos omega n plus phi, right? So comparing these two, we get our digital frequency omega as analog frequency omega into t or ts, right? So over here we will be writing t only because t is replaced by nt. Okay, for as of now, don't get confused. So omega equals to omega t. Okay, now what is this t? Obviously this t is nothing but our sampling interval, right? So I am writing this t as our sampling interval. Okay, let's consider sampling interval, so it as only, right? So this is omega ts. So as we all know, ts is 1 by fs, so we can write this as omega equals to omega by fs, correct? So this is our relation, or this is our relation. Now let us consider the dimension, right, of both omega as well as this omega. So as we all know that here in analog domain, this analog frequency omega has dimension radian per second. Now as we all know that in digital frequency also our dimension should be radian per second only of this w, that is omega, digital frequency, but it's not the case. Okay, over here it will be radian. Actually it is dimensionless, but since we know that radian is also dimensionless, so we denote it by radian. Now you will say how? Let me show you. As we all know, omega equals to 2 pi f, right, where f is our frequency, okay, in time domain. So 2 pi is dimensionless, and we know the frequency has unit per second, right? So it is per second, and this is angle, that is radian. So this has unit radian per second. It is analog frequency has unit radian per second. But now come to this relation. Since omega equals to omega time ts, so what will happen from this equation? We can write omega as 2 pi f, where f is our frequency of this time domain signal in hertz, divided by fs. Now you can see fs and fs both have dimension hertz, right? So we are left with just 2 pi. So it is actually dimensionless, but 2 pi has the dimension radian, that is angle, right? So the dimension of omega is nothing but radian, while the dimension of analog frequency omega is radian per second. So we have an important point, that is this is for omega and this is for this omega, right? So we have to remember this. Okay, this is the dimension. Now again, let's come to this point that digital frequency is 2 pi f by fs, right? Now we will see shortly that sampling theorem says that our sampling frequency should be at least twice of our frequency of our analog signal, right? So it simply means that our f over here should be less than or equals to fs by 2. Clear? So our this should be satisfied as per the sampling theorem. We will be seeing in the very next lecture what is sampling theorem and how this relation came, right? So first, just for time being, we know that sampling theorem says this, and which is indirectly this equation, right? So we can say that omega max will be this f max divided by fs, and we know that f max is nothing but, since f is less than or equals to fs by 2, so the maximum value will be fs by 2, right? So we can say from here that f max will be fs by 2, right? So just we are putting fs by 2, okay, in place of f max. So you can see that fs will get cancelled and 2 will get cancelled, and we are left with omega max equals to just pi. So it means that in digital frequency or in digital domain, always we have one advantage, that we have to consider the frequency only in range of 0 to pi, because our maximum digital frequency can go up to pi. But since we know that we have real signals, and real signals have the same frequency in minus x-axis also, that is over here we have 0 to pi, then there exists a frequency from 0 to minus pi. This is just for simplification of mathematical computation, but it is there, okay? I will be uploading a separate lecture on the significance of negative frequency. So in short, in digital domain our range is from minus pi to pi, both included. So we can consider this as one plus point also, that in digital signal processing, okay, we don't have to compute that is frequency from the range minus infinity to plus infinity like in our analog domain. Because what happens in analog domain, over here this omega has interval minus infinity to infinity, but in digital domain it is not the case, and so we have simplified computation. So we can consider this as one of the advantages also of our digital signal processing, right? So this is, and one more thing I want to make over here is that in DTFT, that is discrete time Fourier transform, if you all recall, and if you don't, then please watch my videos from the playlist digital signal processing. In DTFT, we know that the DTFT has range is periodic, right? And it has range from this was, sorry, it will be summation from n minus infinity to plus infinity, and inverse DTFT was given by 1 upon 2 pi integration from minus pi to pi x of e raised to j omega e raised to plus j omega n. Okay, so this was the case, and then it was d omega. So this was the case in case of inverse Fourier transform, and this clearly indicates that our omega, okay, because this integration is with respect to omega, so our omega is ranging from minus pi to pi, and this was the reason why we call this x of DTFT, or and this is IDTFT. Okay, why we consider this in the range from minus pi to plus pi? This is because of this derivation that we have just performed. So I hope things are clear, okay, as compared to before. Thanks for watching the video. I hope it helps.